this is Tim from Your Six Studios. Today in this video I'm going to show you how to add this remappable back button kit to your PlayStation 5 controller. And this one is called the Tomsin. I picked this up from Amazon for about 35 to 40 bucks. And it just goes on the back of your controller, just like this. And then you have 4 remappable back buttons. And it's very easy to remap them. Now, the first thing we want to do when we add this is to figure out what type of controller we have. And you have to go to your triggers right here and just push down on these. And if you go to the Tomsin Amazon page for it, you're going to be able to look into here. And I'll put something on the screen right now. You can just look at it. But you have to figure out if you have a BDM 10, 20, 30, or 40 controller, because whatever your controller is going to determine which kit you actually buy. So if you buy a BDM 10 kit for a BDM 40 controller, it's not going to work. So make sure you have the correct kit for the correct controller. Now we have that figured out, we want to open up our controller. So the first thing is we want to remove this little face cover right here. And you can just use your fingernails. This should just pop up right here. Otherwise, they do give you this little device right here. It's plastic. It's not going to scratch your controller at all, which is nice. And then they also give you this, which we're going to need a little bit later on. Just be very careful, because I believe this is going to be a little bit sharper on the end. So if you're sensitive, you might hurt yourself a little bit. Then we have this. We're going to be placing on this little thing, bunch of screws. And I'm not going to do any soldering. So they do give you the option to remap the touchpad and then your L3 and your R3 button to the back panels. And I'm not going to do that at all, just because I see no point of remapping the touchpad. I can pretty much do that like in all my games if I want to remap anything. So I'm not going to do it with the back panels. So let's remove this here. And then we have to remove some screws. So this is very easy to remove. It just comes off. Then we have this little screwdriver that came with the kit, and this one is actually kind of cool. I like this one. So we're going to have a screw here and a screw here. Just remove those, and I already removed them just because I knew I was going to be taking apart the controller. So you got 1, 2. Then you got to use this little orange device and pop out the L1 and R1 buttons. Just go underneath and lift, and that'll come off really easily. So you don't have to worry about breaking it. It's supposed to come off this way. Boom, right off. And then there's going to be another 2 screws. So you can see where I took them off already. So right here and here. Now before you take off the back plate here, there's going to be a couple of clips in the middle right here by the audio jack for your headphones. And we want to just unclip them. So you can use this device or your little hands. Just make sure these are lifted up. Otherwise it's going to be a nightmare removing this back plate. So you can see, just don't bend them because they break really easy. I've done that many times. So I have some separation now on the sides because those are unlatched. And be careful when you're pulling this off, because something should be attached still, like your battery. And alright, so let's lift this up. Boom. So this comes off really easily. We won't be needing this anymore because, as you saw, it comes with a white one. Unless you really want to like drill some holes in here. You can see this back cover has holes in it. This one does not. So we're going to use this one. And this one has a little bit different like grip on the back. This one is just very smooth. This one has a little bit more roughness to it, which helps with grip and sweat. So unfortunately this one's a little bit cheaper. So if you have like little covers or something on that, or if you really want to drill some holes, you can. Now what we want to do is remove the battery. So if we're very careful, we can just lift up the battery just like this and wiggle this back and forth and it will come off. Be very careful. If you put too much pressure on it, you're going to rip the little ribbons or the cables out of this right here, which you do not want. And then your battery is useless. So now that we have that out, there's one screw we have to remove right here. So let's go ahead and do that and lift this up. And we're going to put this to the side. So make sure you don't lose any of these screws. They like to roll around. And I don't think we have any replacements. So put that over there. And then we have this little ribbon cable that we have to unlatch. So you could try using the little clippers that they gave us here, and this is going to lift up, and I'm just going to take this out right here and be very careful not to damage any of this stuff, otherwise you won't be able to use the microphone on here or the speaker. And I'm just going to put this to the side. Now you might get it to stay just in this little box right here, this little black box, which is great. And this one might come off too, so we're going to have to remove that one in a second. So we can put this to the side. So you can see this one's already lifted up. We'll have to put that back. But I'm just going to grab this and lift this up and unattach it. Then you got the ones on the side here, here, and here on the top. Let's go ahead and just use my fingers on those. Boom and boom. Got all those unattached. Now let's feed the thumbsticks through. Be very careful. One thing that's going to happen is this little annoying thing right here might fall off on you, and you might find it later on. You're like, what is this and where does this go? Well, it goes right here. Now you can just simply put it back into here, and you won't have to worry about it. So if it falls off on you, just put it right there. Otherwise, you can see like the little square cut out where it was. Alright, now we want to grab this little piece right here, and we're going to put this on. So how this goes on is we're going to put it like this, where the tape is facing up, and then we can remove the tape. Now I'm going to remove the tape later on, or maybe just the bottom one here. They gave us the option for this. And this will go over just like this, and there's two little holes on each side, or I should say like little pillars that you have to just feed this through. Now be very, very careful with this. This is very fragile filament, and it can bend and break very easily. So I've done that before on other remap kits. If you damage this, the entire thing's useless, so be very careful. Alright, so let's go ahead and just feed this over here, and then press down on it, make sure it's just secure. So we'll just go over it just like this. And you might have to get close because it's kind of hard to see where that is. And then just press down. So let me get my glasses on. Alright, so I have one side over the little pillar, and I got the other. So it just goes in like that. Make sure it's kind of like flat and kind of like tight against the back. And once it's flush, we're set. We're good to go. We can put this piece back over. And make sure you got this little piece down there. And this should just go on. Now you got the two pieces on the side that might just kind of get stuck under this little board. So we can just bring these up to the top, just like this. And then we got the one piece on the bottom that I think fell off on me. So I got it down here. Make sure this doesn't get trapped under there. So that looks good. Alright, this is looking good. Now we can start reattaching everything. So we got the three on the board on the top here. So let's do this one. That one's on. Got the left one here. And my version of the controller is very simple just to get this in. Alright, so let me just reseat this one on the opposite side. You can see where it goes. It just kind of slides in right here. It looks like the microphone or the speaker for your controller. So we can just feed it through and then align it and then just reconnect it right here. Good. Now let's connect it on this side. Boom, that's in. And it's kind of lifting up right here, which is fine. Doesn't have to be completely tight. Yeah, so let's go to the other side here. And I can put this little black cover back on. And then screw it down. And then I got this one piece right here I have to put back onto. And you might not have to do these two other ones that I'm doing right now just because yours didn't fall off. Alright, so let's grab the screw, put it back right here, and then screw this down. Alright, so I have this in now, and it's tight. Let me go ahead and put this little piece on the bottom in, and you can see where it kind of slides in once again, just right here. So let's do that and just feed it through here. So let me do this. And this one's going to be kind of annoying just because it's so small and my hands are so big. Alright, so let's do this. Get in there, and then I'm just going to reattach it. boom, once this is reconnected, I should be good to go. It's kind of lifting up, which is fine. There's a little end on the bottom where you can see where it slides in. So it's a little bit difficult to see. Maybe get some reading glasses on. But it should stay in place. And sometimes this little black piece on the end comes off. You just have to like reconnect it and smush it down and it should stay on. And that looks like it's okay. See if it's going to be coming off on me. I don't think so. Make sure the center screw is pushed all the way down. So push your controller down a little bit. And then I'm going to tighten this one a little bit more here because I feel it's a little bit loose. So I don't want the thumbsticks to be coming through if I push down on them. You can see it's coming off a little bit. So I'm going to make sure this is tight on there. And I'll do that one more time just because it seems like it's lifting up just a little bit actually. Good, now let's reattach the battery. So let's put this on and then reconnect this. Let's see, I'll put it on like this and push it down. Good. Alright, now we can remove this tape. And this should just stick to the back. Now there's going to be a little attachment that we're not going to be using since we didn't do any of the soldering to remap the touchpad. Like this right here. We won't be using that on. So it's going to be very simple compared to the other ones. Now we want to do our back cover and get this set up. So we got the back piece right here. Mine is all just one thing. So I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to lift this up. Push it down in there. So this is going to go down like that. And then this is off. And all the buttons are on here already. And I'm going to put it on here, and then I got 4 screws. So I can turn this around and then screw it in. So you can kind of see where they align. It's going to take some seeing exactly where to align the holes to screw it in. And then we should be able to just get it. So let's go to this little bag here. We've got all these black screws. Alright, and then we got an extra little bar here in case you can see where the paddles go if you lose that. But since it's already attached, it should make it a lot easier. So I should be able to just screw this in on the other side. So it should come through just like this. So if I go in, see it's coming through. Now let's screw this on. You know, that was actually rather easy to do that from this angle. So let's do all 4 of them. Alright, so here is the last one. Got it in. Make sure this is tight, it's not coming off. Good. Now what we want to do is go to our controller and we're going to feed this on and through just like this. So you can see it come through. Then we put on the back button attachment completely. So this should come through. And then we can just clamp it down and then we can finish assembling it. So let's see if we can just clamp this down here. Should hear a nice click once we get everything aligned. Because it's going to fit. Seems like it's a little bit off. And these little pieces seem like they're getting stuck underneath this again. So we might have to lift these up. Alright, so I have this on and it was a little bit crunchy getting it on. And I went ahead and put those 4 screws in already. So you can decide if you want those on or off right now. In case it doesn't work, it's a lot easier just taking it apart and redoing it if you don't put those in right away. So I went ahead and did that. Back cover's fitting on pretty good now. I like it. And let's go and put the final pieces on. So we have this little board we want to connect. Alright, so now for this little backboard, to put this in, we want this little black piece facing down. So when we flip it around, it goes down. And there's going to be a little black attachment right here. Just lift this up with your finger, then slide it in. And the filament, you can see it right here, should be facing down towards the board. So this might require some dexterity. You might need to get close here and get a good picture. And then it should slide in. So just take your time and you'll know attached because it's not going to wiggle around or move to the side. Alright, and it seems like it's in right there, and it just popped out again. So it's going to take some time to get in correctly. Alright, and it's not going to slide in all the way. Once we have it aligned, we just want to clamp it down. So take this little black piece, and boom, clamp it in. Make sure it's not wiggling around, it's not loose, and it's aligned correctly. Let me just flip it around, just like this. And then I should be able to just screw it in. Alright, so it's just like this. Alright, so I went ahead and snapped this in. Now there ended up only being 2 screws, the top left and the bottom right. And then there was little like pillars that I could align this board to. So I think we just have a bunch of extra screws, so there was only 2 on the back. And then you can see once you get this in and screwed down, the buttons are now clicky. So let's go ahead and put this on now. And then snap it in. Should just go on. Line it on the side here and look at it. So let me see. This should just go in. Alright. Boom, snapped on. Now make sure this little piece right here doesn't come off, and then we're going to put that face cover on. You can see my PlayStation 5 controller is already turned on. So I got that in. Alright, and then let's go ahead and put this on. Just like this. Snap it down. Sounds good. Everything looks aligned. Now it looks like a tuxedo. Then, make sure you get all these screws in too. And you got the R1 button right here. So let's go on the right side. R1. If you try to put it in the opposite side, it's going to look goofy. And I don't think it will work. So let's snap this in. Go to this side. Snap it in. And then we'll remap this button. Now I'm going to remap one button and just see if this works. Now to remap when the button's on the back, you want to press the S button or the turbo button depending on what you want to put on. But I'm going to remap it first with the S button. So we want to hold down the S button and then let's go to the P3 button. So hold both these down for like 3 seconds and this light will turn on. Now once we have the light blinking, go to the button you want to remap. Let's do O and hold this down. And it's going to blink fast on the back. Then go back to the S button and hold this down until that light turns off. And boom, it's remapped. So it should be that simple. When I go over to the game now, I should be able to jump and crouch. So I have Call of Duty up in the background. Let's just see if this works. So I'm going to hit P3. Looks like that's jump. Then P3, I just did this one. This is crouch. And the button alignments for the back panels, I'm not really used to it yet because I want to put both my fingers on there just like this, or all 4 of them. So I kind of have to just use my middle finger right now. So I'll have to get used to this. I don't know if I really like the button placement compared to like other controllers I have. The DualSense Edge controller, I know you only get 2 on the back, but this one just feels so good. But I like this one right now. It's only, like $35, $40, and you don't have to buy a $200 controller. So, yeah, this definitely works right now. I can jump and I can move around. And, yeah, go ahead and check this one out. I've tried all 4 of them. I kind of like the extreme rate ones just because the back pedals feel the best. But this one gives you 4 buttons on the back, so that's kind of nice. And just look through all of them. This one's, yeah, I kind of like this one. Extreme rate one is probably my favorite just because it feels the best. But the only problem is the 4th buttons, the 3 and 4 buttons, are right here. They're not on the side, which kind of annoys me. So I kind of like this one because I can get to it with my finger without hurting my fingers too much. I don't know. It's just a preference how you want the back one. And so I don't know. I'll have to try this one out and see if I like it or not. But either way, it's been working for me. And I think the extreme rate one, yeah, definitely after feeling this right now, that's probably my favorite one. But this one, I can put all 4 fingers on it at the same time, which is nice. So, I don't know, preference. But hopefully this video did indeed help you out. If it did, leave it a big thumbs up. And subscribe to my channel down below for more tech up videos coming up next on Your 6 Gaming.